And we're just about set for basketball here at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks taking on the Spurs. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. Tony Parker, Danny Green, Tiago Splitter, Tim Duncan, and Kawhi Leonard for the Spurs. No Manu Ginobili tonight for San Antonio. The Knicks are without a couple of key players as well, out with injuries. They go with a backcourt of Langston Galloway and Alexei Shved. Andrea Bargnani is the center, and the forwards Lou Amundsen and Lance Thomas. Knicks returning from a 5-game West Coast road trip that saw them go just 1-4. The win was over the Los Angeles Lakers. They come off the loss on Sunday night in Phoenix. And for head coach Derek Fisher, last 16 games of his first year as NBA head coach, obviously one that has not gone very successfully. Spurs are rounding into form as the playoffs approach. What else is new for San Antonio? And we're about set for tip. Lou Amundsen and Tim Duncan now in his 18th NBA season, and the Knicks control the tip, and we're underway at Madison Square Garden. No Cleanthony early tonight. He suffered an ankle injury in Sunday's loss to Phoenix. Here's Bargnani with the turnaround shot, comes up short, and Duncan tips it to Danny Green for San Antonio. Tony Parker in the midst of playing his strongest stretch of basketball of the season. Nice bounce pass, finds Duncan, and Duncan with the slam. So Parker to Splitter, and Splitter with the nice pass to Tim Duncan for the first points of the night. Here's Shved way outside, guarded tightly by Leonard. Shved makes his move to the rim, kicks it out to the corner. Thomas thought about it, now takes the baseline jumper, rims out no good, and Duncan has the rebound for San Antonio. Now Parker working around Galloway, spinning in the lane, flips it up, banks it in. What a shot from Parker. And of course, it's a welcoming sight to see him looking a lot like Tony Parker of late, as this is Lance Thomas unable to connect. Now the Spurs are out in transition. Here comes Kawhi Leonard, and he gets fouled by Shved. So as I mentioned, Parker played just 2 games in the month of December, battling a hamstring injury, and he was really struggling along with the Spurs team as a whole. They went out on their rodeo road trip, which was not as successful as usual, but then really rounded into form in their last homestand as Kawhi Leonard makes the first free throw. San Antonio has won 5 of its last 6 games, coming off a blowout win their last time out against Minnesota. Shved was called for the foul. Leonard is good on 2 free throws, and he's another player blossoming for Greg Popovich now in his 3rd NBA season. 6-0 Spurs to start. Minute and a half gone by in this opening quarter. Bargnani guarded tightly by Splitter and just gets tied up, nearly loses it, somehow able to control it, backs it out for Shved, only 5 to shoot. Shved drives to the lane, stripped of the ball. Thomas ends up with it, fires, no, in and out, no good. Amundsen the offensive rebound. That shot doesn't go. The follow-up is swatted by Splitter. So the Knicks having all sorts of trouble offensively the first 2 minutes of this game. Ample opportunities down deep. Amundsen battling, and Splitter having none of it. Now here's Galloway on the wing, Parker on him. Enter the post, Amundsen against Duncan. Here's Bargnani, his shot misses too strong, and we get a whistle, and looks like a loose ball foul going against Tiago Splitter, and so the Knicks' lengthy possession will continue here as they trail by 6. Derek Fisher, somewhat of a surprise hire for the Knicks. It seemed like they were ticketed to get Steve Kerr when that process begun, but Phil Jackson settled for Fisher. Bargnani makes the first free throw as the Knicks get on the board. But it obviously has been a rough season, number 1 in New York. And for the Knicks, it's more about getting the ping pong balls in the draft lottery and seeing who they can get come June in the NBA draft, when it promises to be pretty exciting with a lot of good pro-ready players. Bargnani good on a pair. Duncan the lob. Leonard the slam. Perfectly executed from the big man, and Duncan can still do it all. Leonard with the finish. Spurs off to the 8-2 start. 2.5 gone by in this opening quarter. It has not been a good start for the Knicks. Here's Bargnani. The crossover gets inside and rattles it home. So Bargnani has scored the first 4 Knick points. It's 8-4 San Antonio. Now Leonard has it top of the key. He's guarded by Lance Thomas. Parker off the curl. Now he uses the splitter screen. Bounce pass. Splitter outside. Duncan straightaway jumper. No good. And Bargnani has the rebound. Shved brings it up the floor. Shved has been one of the bright spots for the Knicks. Here he gets fouled and unable to hit the jumper, but he'll go to the line. Acquired from the Houston Rockets in a deadline trade. And Shved has been one of the more impressive players. Not really know what you were going to get from him. But in a team that significantly lacks talent, Shved is making his case to be a part of this Knick team next year and even beyond as he makes the first free throw. Basically taking the roster spot of Pablo Prigioni, who was traded to Houston in the other direction. Shved's second attempt, and it's good, so he hits a pair of free throws. Knicks have scored 4 unanswered. It's 8-6 San Antonio in the early going. Here's Duncan. Duncan the back in on Amundsen. Turns. Right-hand shot misses. And it's rebounded by Bargnani. Shved with the bounce. Amundsen underneath for the finish. Well, great find by Alexei Shved, and Lou Amundsen was alone underneath. 6-0 run for the Knicks. They've tied it up at 8. Now Parker using the high screen from Splitter. Bellinelli has checked into the game. And Duncan feeds Bellinelli, who's unable to finish. And Bargnani has the rebound, tips it to Shved. Knicks are running. Shved. Galloway fires a 3. In and out, no good. Bargnani trying to save it, but throws it out of bounds. And the Spurs will take over at the 7:59 mark of this first quarter. Now, the Spurs have had some chances here. Duncan's shot misses badly, an air ball, and then the Knicks out running. And Shved with the perfect pass to Amundsen for the finish. Now Parker with the high screen from Splitter. Kicks it out here. Now Bellinelli gets it in for Duncan. The back in on Amundsen. Duncan turns. This time bank shot, no good, but he's going to go to the line. Fouled by Amundsen. He'll pick up his first. Free throws coming for Tim Duncan. 8-8 is the score right now. 7:39 in the first quarter.